Hi everyone. I get questions a lot about what's a good conversion rate on Etsy, and it's hard to say because it's going to vary by your traffic and by your product and category and that kind of thing. But on average, a quote-unquote normal e-commerce conversion rate is between 1 and 3%, which means that for every 100 people who come to your shop, and that would be visits on Etsy, that's not views, that's visits. For 100 visits to your shop, you should get 1 to 3 sales. And yeah, that's a lot, but a lot of people will come and look and not buy. That's normal. And if you feel like your conversion rate is way too low, like way below 1%, then you might need to look at your pictures or your policies or your shipping or something beyond that, because it means that you are getting visits, but there's something in your shop that's stopping people from buying. So if you're not getting any visits, that's one thing. But if you are getting visits and some sales, but your conversion rate is very low, that's something in your shop that's going on. So you really have to kind of think about where in the process is the stat that you're looking at and how does that affect the conversion rate, and what do you need to look at from there. A 1 to 3% conversion rate could be considered quote unquote normal, and depending on what time of year it is, it might be more, it might be less, depending on what kind of traffic you're sending. If you're sending your own traffic to your Etsy shop and those are people who are ready to buy from you, your conversion rate's probably going to be higher. If you have people coming to your Etsy shop just to sneak and poke around in there, then your conversion rate's probably going to be lower because they're just looking at your shop and they're not there to look around. And I get a lot of that from YouTube because people go to my shop to look at it. My conversion rate is around 2%. Before I started doing YouTube, it was up around 4%. So it's not a big deal, because the other thing is that Etsy doesn't really look at your shop conversion rate as any kind of a factor in search placement. And we got this directly from Etsy, from the search team years ago. It's, I'm not going to argue this with people. They're much more interested in a listing conversion rate. So if they see a listing that has a high conversion rate, they're going to show that more often because they know that it sells. But the shop conversion rate overall, it's not that important. So you really want to be looking at this on a listing level, because that's what Etsy does. A normal conversion rate is 1 to 3%. I do have an article that I wrote about this with the conversion rate calculator that you can go and check out. It's in the links in the description. I will talk to you later. Leave me any questions and give this video a thumbs up.